Question number 9. Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he agree with the Prime Minister that, quote, when the primary sector sneezes, the New Zealand economy catches a cold?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, yes, I do agree with the Prime Minister, and remember almost all his quotes back to 2009.
I was going to say, it must be late.
We are committed to doing what, I particularly agree with the rest of that statement. We are committed to doing what we can to assist the dairy sector by, for example, working to remove barriers to free trade, supporting primary sector research and development, reducing unnecessary red tape, developing critical infrastructure and supporting rural communities. And of course, since 2009, the government has delivered on all of those commitments.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Is it correct that when John Key advised New Zealanders in November 2014, quote, not to worry about the declining price of milk and that the price slide would, quote, bottom out soon, the price for whole milk powder was $567 higher than it is today, and when will his government start to be straight up with regional New Zealand?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, there's been a lot of commentary about what might or might not happen to the dairy price. It can be tracked fortnightly. The member may not be aware of this. Regional New Zealand has screens and computers and newspapers, and if you go there, you'd see that, and they can track the GDT every fortnight. I think it's Wednesday morning it comes out. So I don't think the patronising attitude he has towards regional New Zealand is shared by this government.
Speaker.
Order. Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
What responsibility will he take for encouraging farmers to take on more debt as part of his government's plan around doubling dairy sector production while ignoring the warning signs that his government got more than 2 years ago that there is a 5-year global milk glut?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, none. Dairy farmers are owners of significant assets, complex businesses, and they are absolutely capable of making their own commercial decisions. There's a small group who now will probably come under pressure because they've got high cost structures and excessive debt. And I don't think any of them would regard the responsibility for that being any other than their own.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Is he satisfied with Fonterra's approach to their value-add strategy, and are they meeting his expectations of the role that they can play in diversifying the New Zealand economy?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, Fonterra's fundamental obligation is to meet the expectations of its owners, who are not New Zealand government, but New Zealand farmers who've invested billions in that company, and they regularly discuss Fonterra's strategy, and of course the current price of dairy products is going to ensure there is more diversification, because capital that was going to flow into that industry is now going to flow somewhere else.
Is this a supplementary question? Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary to the Minister. Does he believe the new terms of payment for contractors and small businesses adopted by Fonterra, including a shift to paying invoices after an additional 61 days, is acceptable?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, it would be unacceptable if it was outside the current legislative requirements. And, well, you know, in the end, these are freely transacting people doing business. And any party to the transaction is able to choose whether the terms are suitable for them or not for them. But Fonterra, I am assured, is operating within New Zealand legislation.
Order. Question number 10,